Hello, and welcome back to the first episode of the SuperCoach Experience podcast for 2022. We're here with a full panel here today. I am Brendan Savage. I'm the coach of the Savage Turbos. We're joined here by Jake, the coach of... what's your team name this year?
There's no option to make a team name, so when we get, I think it's in 2 weeks, I think it will be open to the public. That's when we'll be choosing our team name. I think it might be based on Nico Hines this year.
Nico Hines. So what was yours last year? Raymond Noodles. Yeah. He's staying. He's broken the trend. He's bucked the trend finally.
Okay. You're going to go Spaghetti Hines or something like that? Or?
I don't know. I've got a few ideas, but it just depends when it comes around.
I guess we'll wait for the big reveal. How have you been in the off-season? Obviously, you've killed it in BBL. You're 34th at the moment, and in about 30 minutes, we've kind of got to have a pause so you can check team lists,
Yes, it's kind of important. I've got to check team lists and make me trades for BBL. But yeah, going well. I just hope that it carries across into NRL SuperCoach. That's the main one I want to go well in. So hopefully this is the season of Jake 2022.
We're always constantly saying it's Jake's time to shine, but nonetheless, let's move on. We have Mikey on the phone. He's going to be here for about half an hour or so. Stuck in isolation at the moment. It's a shame you can't get here, but how are you, Mikey? How's your off-season been?
Yeah, good, mate. I'm in isolation, so the last week hasn't been the greatest, but at the same time, it hasn't been that bad. Went to Queensland, had a good time there, and yeah, just like Jake, I've been focusing a lot of the off-season time into the Big Bash SuperCoach. You know, I need my SuperCoach kick, so it's just getting me more pumped up for the rugby league season ahead. Penrith won the comp, mate, so couldn't be much happier now. I just want the Sydney Thunder to take out the Big Bash, and I'll be very happy.
Very, very good. Good stuff, mate. And we also have a special guest here that we haven't actually told you about, Mikey. So he's sitting right next to me. You guys are childhood sweethearts.
Mikey's ex-boyfriend.
The story I've heard, I'll pass it on to him. He's contracted to New South Wales as a rookie. Obviously, very close to getting a Big Bash call-up in recent times, but didn't quite get there. It's Ryan Hadley. How are you, Ryan?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, guys. Really appreciate it. Mikey, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Good to hear from you. I really couldn't guess which person you were going to have one of the guests, but as soon as he said that last bit, I was like, Ryan.
I was just telling the boys how I used to stand on a milk crate and look over the fence and jump the fence and land on the trampoline so we could go play in the backyard.
I've just had a great idea for a segment too.
I remember that exact corner.
And the legend is that Ryan stood on one milk crate while Mikey stood on 4.
I don't remember that part.
And we're actually, how is your SuperCoach career going? Actually, no. Let me introduce the champion first. We're here joined by the running-up champion, the reigning champion.
Don't ever call me the runner-up. I bloody won that thing.
Tim Moody. How are you, Tim? How's your off-season been? And how's everything?
Yeah, everything's going all right, mate. Yeah, good. I just wanted to chime in with an idea. I think we should have a segment of Mikey, like, this is your life. So, like, every now and then we try bring in someone from Mikey's life. Because Mikey's never going to be here. Like, he can never make the podcast. He's like, always busy, like, eating dinner or something, or rearranging his sock drawer. But if we could at least get someone that Mikey knew from the past and, you know, bring them on, maybe embarrass him a bit, tell us some stories about Mikey if you've got any, or like maybe, like you said, you hung out with him when he was 7.
I reckon it was about then.
Did you ever see him wet his pants or anything like that?
It was a bit creepy. They used to have a cubby house, I'm pretty sure, out the back of their house, and there was
very good cubby house.
There was a little slit in it that looked into our backyard.
That's cheeky.
So for years and years,
Mikey's always been a bit of a perv, yeah.
For years and years, all I ever saw were his eyes, and then one day I decided to poke my head over the fence, and then there was Mikey. So
that's funny, so he's just staring and observing, taking notes.
That's right. We used to have a pool in the backyard.
It's a bit like Catfish. You fell in love with him, then saw him, and then you didn't want it anymore.
So moved away and faded away.
So obviously you played a lot of backyard cricket. You turned out to be a really good cricketer, and Mikey can't even hold a bat still.
Yeah, I don't think we played much backyard cricket, actually. I think it was, I don't know what we did. We just played computer games or something.
Yeah, no, we played PlayStation games, but there was one time I remember playing with your brother as well. We did have a game of backyard cricket, but yeah, I'm useless at cricket.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
So how's your off-season been? We'll go back to you. How's New South Wales contract? Whereabouts are you in your career at the moment? Just for the listeners.
Yeah, no, it's been good. So I was signed as a rookie by New South Wales 2018 or 19 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't really gone too far since then, unfortunately, but we're tracking away slowly. So I moved to play my club cricket for Manly, which is where I met Jay Lenton.
Yep. Jay Lenton's teammate.
I was about to say the boys are joking before that I'm not my own person. I'm just merely Jay Lenton's teammate. But yeah, right arm, fast bowler, try my best. Really enjoying it at the moment and get to work with some quality cricketers and some quality blokes, more importantly.
So some names in your team at the moment: Steve O'Keefe, Morne Morkel. He's
our
kind of in and
coach.
out.
He played a game. Mickey Edwards, Jack Edwards, Ollie Davies, Joel Davies, who's an absolute guru. We mentioned Jay. It's a pretty stacked side for a club side. So
and then
the poor blokes have to roll out of bed on a Saturday morning after working each week, and then roll out against that team. I feel sorry for them.
So with all the Big Bash movement at the moment, there's a lot of like rookie players playing in there at the moment. You in the mix?
Yeah, look, I'm on the phone to the manager every day. I'm telling you, don't worry. It's a bit frustrating that you can't get a go, but all I can do is worry about what I'm doing and how I'm playing. And at the moment, I'll drop it now that the boys are calling me the Don because despite my bowling expertise, I'm actually averaging 115.
That's very good.
So you're doing everything right. You're ticking all the boxes. You're just not getting the call up.
That's
right.
Well,
that's right. I like that attitude. It's a very cliche sportsman. I've just got to focus on my club cricket, play well for the club. And obviously I'll get the call up when.
The rest will work out.
I think that's right, mate. From all accounts of what I've heard, you're a pretty big deal. So I think good things come to those who wait.
Hopefully, we'll try my best. I might add that those 100...
I was going to say that.
The average of 115 before you think I'm too good. I scored 115 runs and got out once. So that's why I'm averaging 100.
High score of 38 or something?
Yeah, 38 not out or something. So it's not like I'm miraculous or anything.
All right, before we move on, Tim, how's Jamie going?
Yeah, tracking pretty well, mate. She has sort of been doing a bit tough previously, sort of in and out of hospital with the the treatment she's going through with chemo and stuff like that. But she's gone to a lesser sort of intense version of the chemo, which is only she gets it weekly instead of fortnightly, but it's like half the intensity or something. So since that, it's been really sort of manageable. What was that?
It's Mikey.
It's Mikey.
So she's sort of dealing with it. She's dealing pretty well with it from what I can see and from what I hear from her. And she's got a little puppy now and excited about that. So a little companion, little friend.
It's good to hear. You're not in the tracksuit today, though.
No, I didn't think I'd get through the front door. These places are pretty fancy. I don't know whether they'd allow it. But
All right, let's move on to the hookers and the front rowers. Bit like my early day career. I made that joke a few times and I stole it from someone else. Sorry, boob. So let's move on to that. Firstly, Top Sport. We have a specialty market going up from Top Sport. Penrith, which is your team, and Mikey's team. Sharks and Manly, which is my team, I guess.
Here we go.
Why is it like a half cast there?
Well, because that's always up for debate with everyone else except myself. So
yeah, that's true.
Are you just going to commit to him now, or are you going to?
Yeah,
Did you know him when he was a Newcastle supporter?
Yeah,
they did. What a disgrace.
But you didn't, though.
I did.
Oh, no, you did, actually.
And then there was a slow transition into a Turbo supporter.
I think Mikey may have even known me before I was a Newcastle supporter.
What were you before then?
This is your third team.
The North Sydney Bears, wasn't it?
Bears? Oh, it was the Bears, yeah.
How many teams do you have?
Yeah.
Bro, you weren't alive when the Bears were playing. Shut up.
No, I went to some games.
Yeah, your dad played for the Bears. We get it.
Anyway, Top Sport had this specialty market where all them three teams are going to land in the top 6 and Newcastle will be out of the top 8. $8.50. Good value, don't you reckon?
Yeah, that is good value.
Brilliant.
I think
good.
I think Manly's one depends on Turbo. How if he stays there for 15 games, it's probably locked. Sharks, obviously they didn't finish in the top 8 last year, but Penrith should get there easily again, right?
Back to back, I reckon.
So what? Could you repeat that? The multi?
So Penrith, Manly, and the Sharks to finish in the top 6, and Newcastle to finish in the bottom 8. That's $8.50. So you can put as much as you want on it, and I'm thinking of putting a cheeky pineapple or 2 on it. So
it's not bad. I mean, with the Sharks, I guess they got that new coaching.
But that's why the
system and
value
what
is so high with this one, because the Sharks to make the top 8 was $2.10 with Top Sport. So I think to make the top 6 is just a little bit more. So I think that's pumped the value up. So if you think the Sharks are going to make the top 6, I think that's where the value lies.
I think the other two are given. The Sharks, even being a Sharks sport, I think the Sharks are the ones a bit shaky. New coach, a lot of new players. So that's the one that...
I like it because it's what involves our teams.
All our teams. And even Ryan Hadley coming in today, Penrith supporter.
Nice.
Lucky me.
Lucky you. Top Sport, over 18, gamble responsibly, use code SuperCoachExperience. Let's go. Let's move on to the next hookers and front rowers. Let's go. I don't have a sound.
Oh, Savs is back in the sound.
Can you turn my sound? I'm just getting smashed here.
What number are you?
I got no idea. We should have worked this out beforehand.
All right.
I'll just put it not to my ears as much. That's cool. It's cool.
All right, let's go. Let's start off with the hookers. We have Ryan here, who's put a nicely...
He's come overly prepared, I must say.
I was told that these boys don't prepare too much, and then I've come with a notebook and a rap sheet on every player.
I actually appreciate that. That's good.
I think I like it. I think that someone has prepared for once, which is good.
I mean, it's nothing groundbreaking. But,
yeah.
hey.
We'll start off with you. We'll start off with hookers first, obviously. They're very slim pickings. Honestly, I think there's probably not many to choose from and not many combos that are going to be had. But what combo are you going with at the moment, and what are you liking?
I'll give you a brief rundown of my year last year, and it didn't look very pretty. So, from memory, I started with Damien Cook when he was at just about his peak price. Did nothing, sold him at his bottom price, missed out on the Brayley price gain. So my hookers in the last year or so have not been great. I had a quick look before he came in and made these notes, and as you said, nothing really stands out, and I think I'll be spending most of my money elsewhere.
Yep.
One that interests me is Cam McInnes. I had a look at his stats for the last few years, and it's particularly that year where he did play a bit of lock for Saints, and he averaged something like 68. I think if I can bank those points in there, look at someone cheap, maybe a Jaden Sullivan or something. Depends how the Dragons fit him in if they do. I think I'll go him early and try to splash my cash elsewhere. I can't validate going a Harry Grant or a Brandon Smith or something.
Is Jaden Sullivan available at hooker?
I think so. Yeah,
he is. And how much is Jaden Sullivan? He is 380 or something.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Mikey, are you kind of going the spend low cash in that sort of area, or are you going a gun and a rookie? I know BBL season you haven't really looked at it, but what are your first thoughts?
Yeah, I'll put a lot of focus into the BBL, but I would be lying if I said I haven't. I do have a team on the team picker, and I just haven't put a whole bunch of thought onto it because I thought one thing I do is I just overthink too early in the season. But at this stage, I was looking at I'd hardly ever start with a gun at hooker. If I can avoid starting at hooker like a year where Happy was like a mid-range, I'd like to start with a mid-range. But this year, the only kind of guy that I think would be good, I did look at McInnes, but I've gone a bit sour on him just because I want to see the makeup of the Sharks. I want to see how they rotate McInnes, and I just think he's not someone I want to start with. At this stage, I'm going to go gun and rookie. In my team, I've got Reed Marnie. With Reed Marnie, I know he's signed on with the Bulldogs, but I still think he's just getting better and better as a footballer, and I think he's got a lot of attacking upside, and although Parramatta are losing a lot of their stocks, I still think they've got a lot of points in them. So at this stage it's Reed Marnie, but if someone like Tom Starling comes along and he's getting big minutes, or we see someone that I think will get big minutes at mid-range, I definitely think hooker's a good place to kind of save some money, and then you can spend more in the halves and your backs, because we all know we're going to have to start with two gun fullbacks, and if you're thinking crazy like Savs probably is and starting with Tom, you're going to have to shed a lot of cash in a lot of positions.
I am starting with Tom.
We're not talking about fullbacks today. We're not talking about fullbacks.
I just want to talk about fullbacks,
That's my thoughts at this stage.
Jake, what are your thoughts in the hookers up front?
Yeah, I think sort of like the Mikey. I'm thinking, I guess a premium or premium-ish option, and then a cheapie sort of option. And what cheapie comes along, I don't know. It could be Booth. Oh, Savs has locked us inside the office.
Why did you even just get up and do that? What are you doing?
he was a bit hot.
Trying to open the doors.
Why? Get some air.
Now he's just broken the handle and we're cooked.
Oh my god.
Just call the NRMA.
Anyway.
Yeah, but I don't know why he got up and even did that.
That's weird.
The air conditioning in.
I feel more panicked
But-
now. Like, I feel like that's something we can deal with. And
Back to what I was
if an emergency
discussing.
happens and we can't get out.
You go for it, Jake. Let's continue.
Sprinklers might be going off soon, but I don't know if there's any cheapy kind of options that are going to come along.
I've got one, the Cook from the Bulldogs.
Yeah,
but I
Jared
think they
Cook.
will go Jeremy Marshall-King and they'll go Bailey Biondi-Owner. I think they'll share it, but he's also an option if he has a really good preseason. I think he could be an option. Maybe not from the start, but he's going to be an option at some point.
Yeah, and he's got quite good raps on him as well at the Bulldogs. So they got him from somewhere, didn't they? I know that.
Yeah, they
Josh
brought him
Cook?
over.
Yeah, Josh Cook.
They brought him from Souths.
Yeah, he's
Yes, yeah.
Damien's Cook,
Yeah,
legitimate
Damien Cook.
brother. But yeah, I think I'm tossing up between Damien Cook. Reid Marnie, I think, is kind of at his top. I don't think there's
no value
room
there.
to increase.
But maybe that's the safest option
I've
because
got something for you on that one too. Just
but
a minute.
if everyone else is not priced to where they should be, at least he is. And if a cheapie does arrive, there's downgrade option.
Yeah, you can sort of do it.
There's just something about someone that plays with Para. I hate
Para,
Can't get
so
around
I'm always looking for an excuse not to pick him.
I don't like Para's attacking players, but I think Reid Marnie is someone who's got the base and the potential attack. I don't think he has a massive ceiling though.
Yeah. So what were you were about to say something about Reid?
Okay,
Is this something
so-
about your dream that you had last year?
Last year I thought Reid Marnie. I had a dream that he had off-field issues, but no, that's not going to happen. Okay, so my hairdresser. I think I've mentioned him a fair few times on the podcast. He gives me a few inside info. He's one of the boys, you know what I mean? He just knows a few, like, he knows Brett Naden. He just knows a couple of people, like, this stuff like that. But he was telling me that he had a conversation with Reid Marnie. And I don't know, like, you know, someone who's just always got a story, like, how his story's legit, but I like this guy, and I actually believe he's one of the boys. He doesn't seem like a bullshitter, but he was telling me something to do with, I can't remember exactly the precise details and pricing and all that sort of stuff, but Reid Marnie was, you know, pretty, appalled that he wasn't offered the right money, and they were told, you know, go look elsewhere or whatever sort of thing, and he had the conversation with him, sort of like, what's your attitude towards that? And he goes, I'm going to play out of my skin and make them regret that they ever let me go. So I've got a feeling he could, because I guess you could go either way, right? You could sort of just think and go, well, I'm just doing my job. I'll just do the bare minimum, blah, 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 blah. I've got the spot, and then I'll just wait till next year. I don't do these guys any favours. But I think from what he's saying, whether it's true and all that sort of stuff, he's like, yeah, no, he's like, he wants to have a massive year. Like, he really wants to have a massive year. So I'm a little bit, because I was like, I'm probably thinking along the lines of just starting with Harry Grant and like a cheap guy. And I know Harry's out probably the first week, and I'm thinking if I can just find the cheap guy that will play round one and then just take Harry from there. But like other things perked my interest, like you'd say Jaden Sullivan. Like if he gets a spot somewhere in another position as well, I don't think he'll play at hooker.
I don't think
But
so.
yeah, I think that could be really nice. It could be a bit like that sort of Connor Watson-y sort of weird one that we had this year, like that sort of will play out as position. But
My initial thought with Jaden Sullivan is he's probably going to play 14 because that Amon bloke is going to play number 6. So, especially if you're starting with Harry Grant, having him as a backup, actually that's probably too much to spend on your hooker, right?
Way too much.
Like
who? What? Harry?
No, and
No,
Jaden.
Harry and Jaden.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah. I think you'd want to go the
It's Harry and
200 like
JD.
in Booth or something. If you could get him starting, that'd be great.
I've had Aaron Booth in my side since the beginning. What are our thoughts on him? Does anyone have any like insight on it? Aaron Clark and Tanner Boyd are apparently finding out the position, but
There's a lot of hookers at the time. Not any good ones though.
No.
Isn't it a development contract? I don't even think it's a proper NRL contract. I think he's on the development.
I
Mitch
think
Rain's gone, isn't he?
yeah, he's
Yeah,
gone.
he's
He went to
gone
Para.
Para.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes, I think he's on the development.
Does anyone know about that? What's his bloody name? He was killing it. Beryl or something. His name Jaden Beryl. I think he's going to
And Cronulla,
Cronulla. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was killing it in the.
Queensland Cup.
Yeah, is he going to get a start over there or
No,
not?
he's second in line for the hooker position, or third in line. Actually, got McInnes.
McInnes, yeah.
But he's going to play lock. But yeah, he's kind of.
Who's there starting?
a
How
couple
who's there
injuries. So it'll
starting?
be Jaden, Blake Brayley, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So other things that I think. Oh, it's frozen. I mean, typical.
All right, I'll tell you what I think. I'll tell you who I'm thinking of going. I've got Booth in one of my positions, and Ruben Cotter is in the other position. If he starts at 13 and they do transition Tamalolo to front row, Ruben Cotter is someone who played 6 games at lock. 3 of them were above 60 minutes and weren't injury affected, and he averaged 57.5. 380,000. I think there's value there if he plays there. What do you think?
Yeah,
I like the thought. Yeah, I like the thought. I think he's a base stat beast, but I think at the same time, when you're doing your starting side, you don't want to take too many risks, and there's a lot like sweating on that fact. Like you're hoping for, Tamalolo to transition in the front row. You want him to get a good 60 minutes kind of role, and he might be someone that you'd probably have a look at and you bring him in before round 3. But hey, if you run 2 kind of mid-ranger hookers, if Tom Starling gets a bit of a more role and Josh Hodgson fades away or picks up an injury, then I could see myself starting with 2 people like that. But I think it's just a bit too risky. But it could really, really work out. He's got hooker in second row, doesn't he? Does he, Sab?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, so that could be good if you had someone like Cameron McInnes. It could be really handy having a kind of a second row hooker flex. But yeah, maybe one to watch over the preseason, see how they're looking and how the Cowboys' rotation looks.
Can we talk about the Roosters? Who are they looking to start with?
Verrills will start.
Verrills?
He's out round 1, so it'll probably be either
Connor Watson.
Connor Watson or Adam Kieran, depending if Adam Kieran starts at centre wing. He's another one on the list here, 320, and he's got centre wing flexibility. If he starts in the centres and goal kicks, he's probably a lock.
I don't think he will.
Adam Kieran.
He won't
I don't think he
start.
starts.
There's no way. They're stacked. They brought over Kevin the Glamour.
Momorowski.
Yeah, Momorowski. Oh, yeah,
you
you've got
got
to
that.
kick goals over him too. Oh, actually, no.
Yeah.
Kieran will be their first choice gig if he was starting. But
Yeah, but he won't start.
I think
Sam Walker's going to have to find his legs from the sideline.
nah, he's got nothing. he needs some juice.
My younger brother sent me his side, and he's like, "I'm starting with Connor Watson. He'll be the starting hooker." And I was like, "Oh, I don't think he will be. I thought he was going to be their 14. That
Maybe
was their
for round
plan."
one,
But yeah,
Yeah.
I like the Tom Starling chat. I think on Sullivan and Starling, I think McCulloch and Hodgson are equally as likely to get injured before round 1 as each other.
Yep.
And if one of them do, I'll be straight on
Yeah.
either Starling or...
Agree.
yeah. So for me, I think I'm prepared to probably not go with a Tommy, and like I know this is not we're not looking for fullbacks, but this is why I'm going to go Harry because
Tommy?
I'll probably
Tommy?
go elsewhere and try. Yeah, I think I want Harry. I think I just want to lock him in and just leave him there and not worry about my hooker position too much, and then have a cheapie. Just making a little bit of money that I don't even play unless I have, like he's just sitting there pretty much. It's just filling the spot.
Yep.
You could maybe almost, you wouldn't want to nuff it out because there's like 200k available players that will get a run sort of thing. So that's the way I think I'm going. Just because Harry's all about a 20 point more per game player. I think that's what he offers, 20 points per more on it than the rest of the field.
Sweet. So you started with Damien Cook last year. What are your thoughts on him this year with no Wayne Bennett? Obviously, he had a breakout season in 2018, and when Wayne Bennett came to the club, there was an obvious regression. Are you looking at him thinking he's going to get back up to where he was, or...?
I don't think so. He was one of the more frustrating halves last year, I think, and whenever I really needed him to do well in a head-to-head matchup or something, he absolutely did not. So
He came good towards the
absolutely. He
Like,
ended
the
up
end,
averaging
but the start he was
65 or 70 or
terrible. He was
something.
getting like 35 points a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ended up averaging 70 or something, which is ridiculous given the start of the year.
And I guess
but-
with Cook, we don't know kind of without Adam Reynolds there,
yeah.
new coach, is he going to be more? He's going to be more used in attack, or I don't know. I guess their attack is not going to be as good with Reynolds there. Please don't slam the door.
Oh, no, don't.
Don't lock us in again.
Oh, very good.
But-
very good.
But like Cook, I mean, different coach. Wayne
Yeah.
sort of was his killer.
And
it
if
seemed.
I don't know the chat about the halves, but if they're talking Walker and Taff or whatever they're talking, Cook's going to have to do something special,
Yeah.
something amazing, some organisational role or something. But I don't know if that detracts from.
He's super seasoned now, and it
Yeah.
just depends whether he sort of just does a job or whether he sort of takes on the role. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's interesting to see which way that goes. I don't know. Like every time I hear someone say something or talk about something, it gives me vibes, and I've got a negative vibe from him just because I saw something about him. They were talking about how he won't be the best hooker in the game or something because there was Cam Smith and now Harry Grant's already come, and so he's sort of accepted.
I don't even think.
I heard that in a
New
thing.
South Wales, personally,
Yeah.
but-
Yeah, so I was like, I don't like that negative. Like he sort of accepted that, and I was like, just, you know, I like that the fullbacks don't really admit that they're not the best one. They all kind of like,
It's kind of like there was a point last season where I'm pretty sure you were tossing up between trades and you went one way because this guy looks more hungry. Or actually, no, we were talking about it the other day. It was you and Aiken versus, who's the other guy at a similar price? Kurt Capewell. People are going with Ewan Aitken if he starts in the second row because he just looks more hungry for the ball, whereas Kurt Capewell's kind of just goes with the flow and things like that. If Damien Cook's not hungry, it's not appealing. Mikey, is there any kind of gun hookers you are considering going with besides the ones we talked about? So you've gone with Reid Marnie. Is there a Brandon Smith or a Jaden Brayley or even an Appy Coruscant that you would consider?
Oh, it's tough with Penrith because, you know, Coruscant's now signed with Tigers, but it is price point. If you think you can get back to what he achieved in the 2020 season, then maybe there's a bit of value. But for me, if I'm spending money in the hooker part, everything that Tim said, I think, you know, Grant is definitely the best option. If there's a way of you being able to get him from the first round, even though he won't play the first round, I think it's worth it. But, the only other two, I'm really only considering Grant, Cook, or Marnie. But, you know, things can change in the preseason and, you know, Coruscant I will have a bit of a look at, but it's just hard to say, especially with the starting draw. Penrith straw's a bit all over the shop, but I think at the price point, you know, Coruscant is interesting, but yeah, it's just hard to say. Like, it'd be interesting to see who they give the utility spot to, and if there's not maybe someone that's going to do a lot of time in hooker.
Yep.
Now that Tyrone May's not at the club, maybe Coruscant is an option. Because at this stage, like, you know, a lot of people are assuming Tago to start, but I'm pretty confident. I believe that at this stage, I reckon Tago probably takes a utility spot on the bench. There's a good chance that he could do that, so it'd be interesting if that's the case. Then maybe
who starts for you then?
So Coruscant will start, and then Tago. I reckon in the centres they'll do something stupid, and they'll go Robert Jennings or Jermaine Salmon or even Taylor May. There's been lots of talks about it. So although we all us Penrith supporters want Tago, we always get what we don't want, so it's going to be someone like Robert Jennings. Watch.
That's so true.
And then Charlie Staines on the wing.
Yeah, Charlie Staines will be on the wing. Watch. That'll be the case.
Jake, there's a few other lower price options here. We won't dwell on it too long, but
Gordon Chen Kum Tong.
Sorry?
Yeah. Oh, he's got a mad name. So he's at the Bulldogs.
So there's
he's from Manly.
Manly.
Kobe Hetherington and Billy Walters. Billy Walters is a shock contender for the starting six role. What do you think of them two?
I think if Billy Walters gets the start in the halves, which, I mean, there's a lot of words going around that he kind of might be a leading contender there under his dad. But I mean, I'm not too like on Kobe Hetherington though. I think there's a lot of like Haas demands big minutes in the middle, and they've got a lot of Carrigan as well. Carrigan's back. They got a lot of middle forwards there that like can easily do what Kobe Hetherington does, and he's not really a player that gets through a lot of work. He's kind of your tip on one, or he's not a workhorse sort of lock. So I'm 100% not on Kobe Hetherington, but I think Billy Walters, if he gets a start, I think he's at a cheap price where there's not really going to be any. I think he's an all right option.
I think everyone needs to keep an eye on Jaden Beryl too. When he gets a spot, you need to get him in because he was like looking super coach like.
Yeah, I mean, if Blake Brayley goes down, I think he'll definitely come into the team. Well, I think
he'll come into. He'll definitely be relevant at some point in the year. He'll just be when he gets his go. So
is keep an eye out. He hasn't passed his stabbing the bloke.
No, that's not till July or something, isn't it?
Who did a stabbing?
Manasi
Fanu. So this year the court date was meant to be in July, but because of COVID, they put it all back and it's pushed back another year.
Season.
It's pretty shit, to be honest.
No, you shouldn't have done it.
Is there anyone else that you've written down on your list that we haven't touched on?
No.
Great list. Timmy and Mikey, anyone else we want to touch on, or do we want to move on to the forwards? I feel like this is the kind of position where you don't want to spend too much. What have we taken from this?
What do you mean?
What point have we taken from this? Like
hooker?
Yep.
That we're relying on a cheapie.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think it's very team list Tuesday dependent on the second position. I think we'll have to wait and see who gets that nod and the starting spot, and whether that looks like it's got some sort of job security. Maybe it might, there might be some reason to look at it and think, it's only going to be a 1 or 2 week thing. But I think we need to wait and see on that. But I think it's just a matter of whether you want to pay top dollar for Harry Grant. I think there'll be definitely people looking at Reid Marnie. There'll be people looking at McInnes as their main, as their main three. I think that'll be the main considerations that people will be looking at for their...
Very good.
And they're priced sort of accordingly, I think, too. And they fit their price sort of thing.
Mikey, anything to add on that?
No, I agree with you. I think this year more than ever, it's going to be very dependent on the cheapie. So a lot of our content before the season, until the season actually, pre-season kicks off, it's going to be hard to get a good judge because, with all these awkward prices, it's probably the year of the midi. We've been saying this every year, but I think mid-ranges are going to become very relevant. And we're going to need a lot of bottom dollar cheapies that I'm not sure we're going to get them.
Mikey loves a midi. He loves it.
Magic mid.
No, I do.
I just saw that.
If I can get a good one.
I just saw that Gordon Chan Kum Tong. Nope.
Everyone has different names.
Yeah. Very good. All right, let's move on.
It's just he's got too many names. To be fair, there's nothing wrong with the name. He just got a lot of names.
I was laughing at the cum part in the middle.
Oh, that's fair enough.
We're not PG anymore.
Were we ever? All right, let's move on to the front rows. We've probably got to take a quick break so we can check team list for the BBL.
Are you going to edit this shit out?
Yeah. All right, we're back and Mikey is gone. He's had to clean his house. So, very good.
Let's go with that.
Moving on to the front rowers. Front rowers are pretty not that exciting anyway. So, let's deep dive into it. Who's the top of the person on your list there?
I think it's pretty unanimous for everyone. But yeah, Ryan, what do you got on your list, mate?
I've got the obvious ones. I've got your Payne Haas. I've got Papali'i. One I want to chat about and ask you blokes. After watching him at the back end of the Penrith finals run, which we miraculously
TPJ
and greatly won.
Oh, come on, you spoiled his thunder.
I like to anticipate people's things.
It is TPJ. You're right. The main thing I want to.
I'm connecting with him. We were riffing.
It's our whatever you call that.
Riffing. That was perfect.
Yeah.
I didn't even mean that, but like riffing, pen riff. Yeah, I was mad. I love that.
Savs, this is making
that
me
was
sick.
a pun. That you should have laughed at that. It's the only joke you get.
I don't know. I think I want him to play on the edge for the Dogs.
Yep.
And I'll explain why. I think the Dogs are pretty bad.
Laugh.
The Dogs are pretty bad, as we know, even
Yep.
with all their recruits. And I think he's good enough to almost be a bit of a schoolboy bully where hopefully Burton can just shovel in the ball and he palms 5 blokes off.
I like the look of him.
Out the back, and then who knows, Josh Adokar might grab it and do what we want. So he's probably one that I'll probably target in terms of the top guys anyway. So yeah, you with me?
I think,
And his front row, second row flexibility, which is there's not many of them in there.
That's the mad thing. I love a bit of Julies in those positions. You need it sometimes. You need to swap it around.
And I think his price is slightly down because he was playing off the bench for Penrith last year.
Exactly
So
right,
his price is down of what his output can be.
So there's value there.
I think there's definitely value. Whether you have him at second row, front row, doesn't really matter. I think front row is probably where you're going to plug him because there's really not many good front rowers there.
With Pangai though, he's only 30-40k difference than Payne Haas. Are you justifying that or?
I like them both. I think they're both priced really well. I think you get that consistency from Payne Haas where you've still got at a new club. He's a marquee player. Pangai Jr. is going to score well.
If he can stay on the field, definitely.
I really didn't like him when he was coming to Penrith. I was a bit touch and go, and then watching him play those last 4 or 5 weeks,
Yeah.
He's a super coach gun. I think they're both priced really well. I think the thing that's interesting about the prop position, I think we're going to have a similar sort of like feeling towards what we had last year. So it all depended who you started with. So some people, I remember I started with Junior Paulo, and many didn't.
Year, I reckon.
Yeah, so did I.
And that was a big deal, but then
Yeah.
you had to get rid of. And the other one I started with did really well as well. I can't remember.
Takiaho.
Yeah, and then they sort of fell off. So I reckon it's going to be a matter of who you pick. You're going to feel like in the prop position you got it wrong if the other one outscores the other by 10.
Yeah.
But I think you've just got to stick with it. I think if you pick, Payne Haas and Christian Welsh, you need to roll with that as long as they're healthy. Don't change it because one of them got 40 the first
Yeah,
week, and
yeah.
then someone else got 80, because it's not going to keep repeating that way, unless it's like a Payne Haas. I think you need to lock him in. I think he's a lock. Lock Payne Haas in.
That's really wise of you.
I really also like the idea of Payne Haas 2.0, Atacamano.
Yep.
I don't know whether I'll start with him. I'm tinkling with it. I know that the prop is a bit of a wasted spot, but I think I might want to just kind of go with... Yeah, I think I kind of want two full price props. I don't know. I have to do the maths. I haven't built a team yet, but I think I'd probably, looking at their value and that what I think they'll probably increase. I think Payne Haas and TPJ look super juicy. And then I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, but is Spencer Linu going to get relevant this year?
He was on my list. I don't think so,
think
but
so.
He's still at the same price. He's going to play the same role.
Yeah.
Is he
Yeah,
going
same role, yeah.
and especially with Scott Sorensen playing really well at the back end of last year, it's probably taking some of his minutes. His
So I
minutes
definitely
did
want
go-
two
His minutes did
cheapies.
go up by like 8 minutes per game, and his points per minute stayed the same.
Yeah.
So if he goes up again, then maybe.
I kind of want to avoid getting that guy that's annoying priced where you can't get rid of him. I either want to start with almost a bottom dollar or 200k-ish.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to go much more above 200k if I'm spending two premiums. So I think I will go two cheaper ones. But I think you need to have two starting decent or guns and one that is a cheapie that is still playing, just in case. You don't want to be having to trade out props at all. I think you kind of want to leave that there.
I started with
for as long
Tino
as you
last
can.
year, and I think that reminds me of a similar position that Stefano will be in this year, which was a bit annoying. He wasn't setting the house on fire, but he was
He's just
there.
at that tier
Yeah.
below sort
Yeah.
of thing.
And I didn't enjoy it.
But I guess the way back to Stefano, the way he sort of finished last year, for you especially, he really helped you because everyone kind of got rid of him. And
I think he could have a big second year too. He seems like he knows that he's a gun now. Like, I think he realises it. And he's like, he was probably a gun in the juniors. Took him a little bit to find his spot, and now he's like, hold on a second.
He had a few games in 2020 though, so didn't he come from Parramatta Eels?
Yeah, he came from the Eels, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm
It was
pretty
very
sure.
unmemorable for me.
He had one game or two games with them, so that's why it was started.
But he wasn't playing many minutes though.
No.
Taking a photo with a fan during
Yeah,
COVID or something.
okay, yeah, he did.
He had a bit of line. He showed a lot of line break potential, and there's sort of a little bit of pizzazz as well. Like, I kind of
a bit like Tamalolo for me, where he's a bit more agile than like a.
And I think just on that, I don't think I'm going to get anywhere near Tamalolo.
Second row.
second row.
Tim, relax.
We're not allowed to talk about fullbacks.
Tamalolo on fullback. If Granville can get a run, why not?
So you're all starting with Payne Haas, right?
I think so.
I think so, yes.
I'm not.
Okay.
I mean,
You're going to want to get him,
If
and
it's
he's
not-
only
if it's
going to
not
go up
Penn guy,
in price,
then-
bro.
He's got a problem.
It's because I'm starting with Tom Trebojevic, so I've obviously got to scab out
Okay, I get that, I
Fullbacks,
get
why
that.
do you keep mentioning
I love that though. I love that there's a different approach where you're going to have to sacrifice to go that, and I think that it'll balance out. And I think it's going to be one of the most interesting Supercoach seasons.
Yeah,
I think
for-
we've got a lot of options and different
because there's
tactics.
so many, and especially if Nathan Cleary starts round one, it's going to be someo's going to have to sacrifice.
There's great options everywhere, man.
We're all
I
going to
love
have to
the idea of
sacrifice
even
somewhere
Sam
else to
Walker
get
and
Cleary.
stuff like.
But yeah, I'm starting
topic.
with Stefano at the moment, and I'm tossing up between Lindsay Collins. I'm a bit scared because he's coming off an ACL, but for 60,000, he started the year really well last year and had the house on fire. So I'm considering starting with him, but Matthew Lodge is in my team picker side at the moment at 498,000.
Yeah, I think he misses the first couple games.
Yeah, well then he's not in my side, is he? Is he?
No. But if he was playing, then definitely, because the way he finished last year, he was
Yeah.
on fire. I guess AFB sort of in the same bracket as him.
Yeah, they're very similar price. They're Matthew Lodge 498 and AFB 505. I don't know if I'm as keen on Adam Fanua-Blake because the bigger type of guys, I guess Matthew Lodge is in this category, tend to start the season quite slow.
Yeah, but he's still a
they're bigger.
workhorse, man. He's like a machine. I know he looks he kind of looks tired, but he was playing like when they needed him to. He was playing 80 minutes. and
Which
stuff.
one?
AFB.
AFB.
Yeah.
Well, both of them were.
I kind of rate him. He's still like someone I think, maybe need to have a closer look at him too to consider.
Yeah.
I guess
I think
if
we need-
there was value in our AFB, you'd kind of be going him.
Yeah,
But because
but there's
there's like, an extra 70k to a TPJ or on Haas,
Yeah.
you're kind of just going to pull the cash out for them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You look like you were going to say something.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think the Matt Lodge situation, personally I'm not a fan of when you can spend that little bit of extra money. And I know you can't because of your mate Tommy. But, I'm personally not a fan. If I was to go AFB or Lodge, I'd go AFB as well. A bit more impact, a bit more something.
Well,
Can we? Sorry, yeah, go.
no, you go.
I've seen in a lot of teams that have been posted on Facebook, a lot of people are
There's
keen to be
teams
starting
posted
with,
on Facebook? I wouldn't have known.
Oh, people, no. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
sorry, I never
That's
feel,
another one
I'm
of
so
Sav's
gullible. I always
late.
like,
No,
what?
it's Sav's jokes.
Yeah, okay. So, I've seen a lot of people have Lindsay Collins in their side, and I'm off it. I don't know. I don't know what the appeal is.
I agree. 100% agree with you.
What's the go there? Like, heaps of them are starting with it. Like, is it just?
Is he even going to start?
Is it because he's like that tough looking?
I think he might start for the Roosters, but he
Yeah.
was even starting last year, and he was playing 45 minutes. But the only reason he looked so good last year because he had try and a try assist in 2 games.
Yeah.
Which inflated his scoring.
Yeah.
If you take those out, he was only getting 40 in 45, 50 minutes.
Yeah.
He was playing well, but unless he's going to be, taking big minutes, like Radley takes big minutes in the middle, he plays 70 to 80 minutes. So you got 2 front rows playing plus your bench forward. So you got Takayaho still there, Hargraves still there, plus Lizzie Collins and then whatever front rows they have on the bench. But yeah, I don't like. Initially, I was looking at him like, yeah, all right, but then I delved into it and I was like, no, I don't really see it. I don't like it. I don't like it.
We might be proven wrong.
We
He
could
might
be
be
wrong,
one
yeah.
of the guns. But another one I want to bring up, if that's all right. You would be the guy to ask on this, being a Sharky. Braden Hamunueli. Is he coming off the bench guy, or is he maybe getting a nod, a bit of a start? He's at 300k. I think he could be. I think he could be a Fafita. Like he showed, like not Daniel, but an Andrew style. Like he's got that same sort of build and shape. I think
Hamunueli,
if he gets minutes, he can show
I think he might
potential.
start because McInnes will be our lock. Finucane will be one of our props, and you kind of want Finucane's a smaller sort of body, so you want a big body. That's why I think they'll go Hamunueli. But like we've got Aiden Tolman, who's a plotter, but
He'll come off the bench.
He'll be
That's
off
for
the
sure.
bench. Toby Rudolph is there as well, who's another option who
Yeah.
could start. Royce Hunt.
Fafita
hasn't officially left yet.
Is this-
There's a lot of front rows.
Going
in the
back
Sharks.
to McInnes, is this why McInnes is a trap? Because there's got so many middle forwards that based on
He'll get
McInnes'
minutes,
2020 average was based off 80 minutes a game. There's a big chance that he doesn't get 80 minutes at the Sharks.
And that's sort of what Mikey was mentioning. He's kind of a bit off him because he doesn't know the role. But
Yeah.
Fitzgibbon, he loves McInnes.
I think he'll get the minutes. I
He
think he'll
loved
play
him
80.
when he was in the. Well, he was kind of around the New South Wales setup.
He
McInnes
might
was.
get eased in a little bit though, hey, because he's coming back. Like to start with, he might play 60 or something. But I reckon the
He's
idea
still
would
fit.
be to play.
He's a
for 80.
workhorse, and I think he could even go into hooker and say spell Blake Brayley. He's a young kid. He's had to do a lot over the last couple of years where he's not. I mean, he's not the biggest body, so he's going to wear down. So I think McInnes, I don't mind it, but in terms of the other front rows for the Sharks, I think you definitely got to stay away from him.
I think
There's
McInnes
too
is the
many.
type of guy you want to keep on the field. I feel like he
He
wins
brings
you
you
the
energy.
game. Yeah,
He brings you leadership. Same as Finucane.
defense is
But-
like fantastic. So I think if he's got the ticker, and wants to play the full minutes, I think they would. Unless they think, I don't think he's like an impact player. I think he's a worker. So I think they'd probably play him, Eddie, if they can get it out of him. So I'm still off him though. I don't. I don't know. I'm off him. I don't.
It's
Guys
just-
with one missing tooth. That's like I think Lindsay Collins is missing a tooth. I think. What's this other bloke we're talking about now? The Cronulla guy.
All the South
Hamunueli.
No, the hooker.
McInnes.
McInnes is missing a tooth too, isn't he?
That's
He's
their
mi-
fan.
He's missing like 3.
Yeah, so people missing teeth, I don't know. I just kind of think
They can't help it. They get knocked out.
I like the prettier players, man. I like the Cam Murrays. I like, the Nico Hineses.
Yeah, but what front rower is pretty?
Oh,
Exactly.
Jai Arrow's not too
he's
shabby.
He's not really.
Come on, mate.
Mate, they're a front row.
I
for a
wouldn't bring
reason.
him home to mum because
They're front row.
I'm going to be
for a
asking some
reason.
questions. I have.
But Savs, have you found any, I guess, mid-range, or other than the two that you've gone, any other mid-range / lower end cost players, or as he's taking photo of himself over there?
No, I'm not.
No. Snapchat. Something.
Yep. No, nothing. What?
just
Anyway,
just
Ryan,
a photo for his
Ryan,
OnlyFans,
anyone
mate.
in your
There was one that I saw posted. Someone had him posting a team, and it intrigued my interest. Was Aaron Penne moving, and we just spoke about Fanua Blake and Lodge, but him going to the Warriors from Melbourne. He had decent points per minute, and if he can manage some minutes there, which I'm not sure he will with Lodge and AFB, but
What price is it?
he was cheap. He was
about 300 or something.
280 or something.
Oh, it's a nice sort of
Yeah,
price
coming from-
bracket. I think you need one of those. It's
Player, a guy coming from Melbourne, Probably brings some sort of skill and ability if he was there in the first place, I'd imagine. But I don't know. I'm going to keep an eye on him. I might start with him. He'll have some sort of role. I imagine he'll be in the 17. So
I mean, he could even start the first game without Lodge.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
and if he's there, I mean, you've kind of got to start him
big
at
unit,
the price.
like, yeah,
And he's skillful, quick.
yeah.
Sort of your modern day front rower now, really.
At 280, I think it's juicy.
Morgan Boyle?
No, stay away.
I'm just thinking of 200k. I just thought maybe he could be one that you might get some. But I think he's going to be a Spencer Linu where you just can't get rid of him, isn't he?
Manly's side is pretty much unchanged this season. So,
So he's not
The
going
only one that I guess could. No, so Des doesn't use his bench. I was going to say Ethan Bullimore. A few were mentioning him.
yeah,
but
that's a decent one.
The issue is Des only uses 2 subs
Yeah.
a game and then throws on whoever the other ones are on the bench for 5 minutes. So, I don't think you really touch anyone that's even going to be on the bench for Manly.
I think he's a wait and see, maybe.
I mean, at 280, they've signed him across, so they must see something in him.
Yeah, he doesn't play second row, though, because they've got Andrew Davey coming over, so he'll come off the bench as well. He's back from ACL, so I don't know what the bench is going to
What
look
about
like,
Matty
to be honest.
Croker? Do you reckon from the
Who the fuck is that?
275 collective? He's friends with Connor Watson.
Oh, is
and
he?
Yeah, I think he's sort of in the mix. I think he's sort of like kind of on the peripheral of
Newcastle.
getting a go. I don't know. Maybe he could be someone at 200k but he's probably going to also be a bit of a Spencer Linu where you can.
Yeah, well, the Knights, you've got the Saifidi brothers, you've got Clemmer, and I guess you've got one more spot for a front rower. I mean, if he gets a spot at cheapy, you kind of got to pick him because there's not really the only ones like I can
George
see.
Burgess?
George Burgess, I think, might get some minutes if he
That's an interesting
Stops getting in
price,
trouble.
247. Yeah, I don't mind that.
stops getting in trouble. Griffin Neem, he got a bit of run at the end of last year, but again, we don't really know these names, and we're going to need them.
So are we writing off Isaiah Papali'i and Luke Thompson?
I'm a bit off us. At the price, I think so, yeah. I think he's just a bit too much. I think you're paying an extra 100k a minute, like at least, pretty much on Payne Hay. Yeah, on Payne Haas, I can't say words. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. And I've got I think you need to drop. I don't know. I've got a feeling he's not going to match last year's for some reason.
He signed his contract now. So
and I got a feeling he won't be the guy that
He had
sort
a
of
pretty
proves the
big
point.
drop off at the end of last year as well. So
Yeah.
And Parrell was kind of rotating their second roles throughout the game.
It
as
looks
well.
like he might play middle as well, which is not ideal.
One thing I will say, though, is when clubs have got a player that they're not keeping for a while and they're not in the future plan, they can just put him out there.
Yeah,
And
they
you get
try and
tired,
burn
I don't
him
give a
out.
shit. Do your job, you know what I mean? Like, we don't need you for next. You get injured, you know what I mean? We'll put him out there. So maybe he does get those minutes and they want to try get as much out of him in the last year as they can. But, yeah, at the price, if he was the same price the others, I'd definitely be looking at him. But, yeah, you're paying almost 700k for a prop. No thanks.
Is there anyone on your list there that we haven't mentioned?
I had Francis Molo on the move to the Dragons. I don't know what his role will be there, but
Yeah, the Dragons kind of unknown. Like
absolutely.
they got so many new front rows. They got Aaron Woods there as well.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of it's going to come down to TLT big time. Like just seeing which way it looks like what's available, what looks like is the way to go, because at this point it's just guess games really.
So everyone's starting with Payne Haas. I've just come across this, and this could be like it. Okay, we're fighting on my side. They're fighting for Payne Haas. So
Who are we fighting? I don't want to fight Payne
Not
Haas.
physically
No,
fighting anyone.
no.
I'm like, there's no way I'm fighting Payne
no.
Haas.
So we're doing the
one against.
SuperCoach debate.
Oh,
That's what we're gonna do.
okay. So we're the affirmative, or what?
Yep.
So you're fighting for Payne Haas. We're fighting against him. So Ryan,
that's a bit of a stitch up. I think I'm on your side.
You can come over here if you want.
all right, go over there.
Bring it over here. Come round, bugger him.
What have you got, Savs? What have you got?
Okay, so Payne Haas. I'm not starting with him. You guys are starting with him.
Sit on the gauntlet. That's awesome.
Obviously finished the year last year with Pat Carrigan not in the side. He's sitting on his throne.
That's perfect.
Pat Carrigan is coming back. Ryan James is signed with the club. Kobe Hetherington is still there. Flegler.
So what does that mean for Payne Haas?
There's a lot of middles there. There's a lot of middles
he
there.
does his job,
He's not
bro.
going to get 60 plus minutes. He's going to get 50.
No, I feel you're going to have your best player on the field for a majority of the minutes.
Brisbane, Brandon Savage, I'm going to stand up to say my point, have had some very poor seasons over the past. So they're not going to sit there and muck around and play games. They're going to get their best team on the field and they're going to have them playing. They're going to go well, the Broncos, this year. Mark that.
Can't go any worse than last year.
They will go well. They will go well. They show potential towards the back end of the season. I think you have to start with Payne Haas. At the price, he's only going to go up and he's going to be scoring more than other
He's only going to go up.
In price, yeah, 100%.
You reckon?
He's going to go up for sure, bro.
Yeah.
He'll be 600.
He's sub 600.
He'll be
unheard of.
650, 670, maybe even push 700.
The year before he was 700.
Yeah, he'll... Bro. Come on, man. He's the best in the game and he's priced low.
I don't know.
I think Adam Reynolds will demand he's on the field with him.
Yeah, fair.
I didn't have him at all last year, and
You had him last round.
I got him for the last round. Yeah,
you did.
Remember these sorts of things. It was all a haze. But yeah, realistically, it was so scary not having him.
Yeah.
But it was the thing that like I could never get him. You know,
It's been a pretty easy debate.
I can get him.
Even Savs is flipping sides.
Yeah, I'm just like, maybe I should get Payne Haas in.
Now,
Well-
Turbo out, Haas in.
Even with the fact that Matt Lodge is out, you've got to have 17 good scoring players. Like you can't. Your centre wings are going to be risky as it is.
Okay,
so.
I'm going to come on your side for a little bit and talk because I like to sort of sit on the fence for things. So I think, if you got to ask ourselves how much will Payne Haas average, what do we think he's going to get? Is he on average 70, 80? What are we calling?
No less than 65. No less than
I
65.
think he's going to average 65 for the first 5 rounds.
65? Well,
And then he'll elevate from there. That's kind of...
If you think 65, you could look elsewhere and go cheaper. But I think if you're going to get 75 to 80 from him as an average...
I'm thinking the fact that Lodge is out and I'm not that keen on Collins, I'm thinking TPJ instead.
TPJ.
Sexy.
Yeah.
I'm thinking going Haas and TPJ.
Yeah, okay.
And then 2 bottom dollar.
Yeah.
Arthur
Whatever
Kamano's
we can
tempting, but...
Where are you going
Because he's a bit
to
lower
scab
priced.
out?
Well, I already said I wasn't set on McInnes when we were talking about
Yeah,
it.
okay.
So there's every chance I'm going 2 cheaper
Yeah.
guys there. I don't know if Clear. I'm like you. I have to have Cleary.
I'll scab out in the CWT, I reckon.
Yeah, everyone will though. There's a lot of.
I always do that, and it
cheapy,
never
yeah.
works because then I'm looking at all these blokes scoring 4
It'll
tries.
definitely work. It'll definitely work. I reckon you start
It
with
always-
nearly all cheapies. I'd
do that
even
every
get
year,
To'o
yeah.
to start with.
You wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't. I think I'd almost get him later when you can. Like, we know what he can do, but I reckon we can probably get other guys that if you get, because you've got enough of them, you've got enough in that position, you've got like 7 CWTs. If you get enough cheapies, you play them on rotation. You've got to really pay attention to the rotation and match up and yeah. 100%.
Do you want to sit down?
I'm fucking excited. I can't believe we're back talking NRL SuperCoach.
The more he talks, the more he's leaning into Ryan, and Ryan's just like...
That's our Panthers.
I'm like giving him a haircut,
No.
like the haircut where you get thrusted sort of thing. Sorry, man.
You give me a haircut and tell me all about Reed Marnie.
So what have we taken from talking about front rowers? Payne Haas is a lock-in?
Yeah.
It's Payne Haas and Daylight. Same as with the halfbacks. It's Nathan Cleary then Daylight. So I think that's why they're almost...
You could make a case to 2 or 2 not TPJ, or you could maybe go Atakamano for a bit cheaper, or maybe you could go just one gun like Haas and then have like 3 sort of 300 Ks.
Yeah,
but
the
I think
problem
that's a bit
with
of a
the
waste
300,
too.
there's no one good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why you're going to stay away. You want 17 players that are going to score well.
Is
while they're
Drick and
on the field.
TPJ outscores Stefano by a long way or not?
Yeah, I reckon 10 points a game he's got on him, at least average.
I think so too, but I'm asking. I want you to convince me not to get him kind of thing.
The more I think about it now, Tyrone Peachy is going to play 13 at the Tigers, so that'll push Twile up to the front. And Otakamano was finishing the year last year with big minutes. With Twile in that rotation
he's their main
now.
guy, bro. He's their marquee prop.
Yeah, but like
Twile's-
they love Twile.
Nah, not so much the last couple of years. I owned him in a draft last year, early doors, and he was...
He did finish all right.
Oh, so they
I think,
don't
last
love
year
him
as well.
because he
He's a
didn't
bit
score
of a-
well in
he's
your
a-
draft.
because he was doing...
He's a meat and potatoes. He goes all right,
Yeah.
but and not just for SuperCoach, but for NRL. I think they know Atakamano's their
Yeah.
Haas.
Is,
He's their gun.
Is Twile going to score this year?
Score a try.
Yeah.
No. The Tigers will be lucky to score a try. Let alone Alex Twile.
Is Twile going to score a try?
He's never scored a try.
89 games, no tries. Blake Laurie, 79 games, no tries.
Really?
Yep.
I back Blake Laurie.
You reckon?
Backing him in. I might get him.
I'm not backing Blake Laurie. He's a plotter, that bloke.
Whose foot's him?
That's mine.
Oh, is it? Wait, do you want me to come back over there, bro, or what? Just let me know. I don't like subtlety, man. I get confused and I don't know how to take reads.
He's moved on from Mikey.
Yeah,
right.
Cool.
Right.
I like what
All
we've
right.
sort of
So
cracked out.
we've pretty much broken down. I wouldn't say broken down. We've roughly talked about the hooker in the front row position.
We've picked apart.
They're probably the worst positions in SuperCoach.
Is that why you got me in on that?
No, I got you in for the first episode,
Oh,
so
right,
so
okay.
you should feel pretty good. We'll get Jay Lenton in next episode.
I see.
Ryan Hadley's teammate.
I wouldn't think of them as the worst positions. Each position, you've got to fill each position. So you've got to try to do as well as you can in each position because that does all add up. You know what I mean? If you get 10 points here each round, that's like, it's important. You've got to get it.
And this is
But
the 2021 champion.
Yeah, we got to be listening to him. Hey,
what I will say is that my gut is I reckon you don't want to be swapping out props until they get injured. You pick two. So whether you go on TPJ and Haas or Haas and Atakamano or whether those people are keen on Lindsay Collins and Haas or whatever it might be, I do not swap it because someone else got 20 points more in the first round. Do not trade it out and leave that because you're going to need trades. I think they might help a little bit with the changing of the rules with trades, but I still think it's going to be crucial to save trades because that's what makes SuperCoach good, and I think they'll keep the rules tight enough that we still need to save trades.
Don't forget, we've probably gone off too early here, but there's still some pending rule changes coming into SuperCoach, which I'm not sure if it's going to...
I don't think it'll change much for the points, to be fair. I don't think it'll be averaging.
I don't think the points will change much.
The forwards and stuff, it won't change.
Do you think it's going to be trade related or
It'll be trade
scoring
related.
related?
I think because of COVID and if BBL's anything to go by, I think they will add trades. I think
That's all
there'll
they'll
be more
focus
trades,
on, I think.
just to sort of cover
the complaints of that sort of stuff and ways to
Some sort of
negate
COVID
unfair
reserve or something. Or
If you can't play a player because or
or
whatever.
will it kind of be like BBL where it's like the emergency...
where you
That's
kind
what
of
I'm saying.
choose your
Yeah.
emergency.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't like that.
I played an NFL fantasy draft.
Yeah.
And we had, there were slots that you could slide people to your COVID reserves.
Oh,
so
really?
You can keep them, get someone in temporarily, and then they get chuffed
Oh, that's
off
pretty
after.
good.
Yeah, but it's kind of your loophole. Use it as a loophole
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
I think whatever it is,
But I
we
think
just
they
need to
do
sort
add
of,
trades.
once we know the rules, take
Yeah.
them in and then dissect how
don't-
do we...
don't
how-
speculate
How
about
do we take this to our advantage, you know what I mean? Because I think that's you changing and adapting to the new year. Every year is a little bit different.
Yeah.
No,
You were done? You were done?
I'm done.
My argument is, pending the rule changes, if they're not that significant, aren't these the kind of positions we should probably spend low on and then kind of spend high in the centre wing area? So, I mean, last year you figured out pretty early on that second row was in the front row, especially early on,
Yeah.
that they were killing it at the start of the season. Towards the end of the season...
That's why TPJ might be a good thing.
Yeah,
you can-
towards the end of the season, the Haas and the AFBs and the Lodges...
Haas is different. He's as good as the second row.
Yeah, but at the start of the year, you kind of... It didn't hurt you to go without him.
To go without who?
Haas.
He wasn't available, I don't think, was he? At the start of the year?
He was there at the start of the year. But I think he missed like maybe the first
I
game
thought he
or
missed
two.
like the first four.
Yeah, I think he
games.
missed quite a fair bit at the start. That's why no one, it was just like, when do you get him? It was a bit of a difficulty.
But is it viable to spend low there?
I don't think so.
Even in the second row?
I don't
It
think
surprised
so.
me when you said you checked out the centre wing.
Second row,
I don't think so because the only thing is I think you'll end up, if you go with like 300K, 400K guys in prop, I don't think they're going to grow in price, those players. I haven't looked at them close enough.
Yep.
And I don't think they're going to score. I think they'll be at least 10 to 15 shy of the guys up there, the better guys like Haas, TPJ,
Yep.
Adakamano. So I think...
So you reckon...
Because you don't want to muck around with trades that you need to be trading out your 5'8", your halfbacks, your fullbacks, getting on the CWT when they come through. Your props and second row's a little bits here and there when someone pops up that's juicy, like an Aiken or something when they're out of position. But yeah, I think you need to just lock that in. You pay overs for it.
So
You're not
you
overs,
lock
but
that in and you use the least amount of trades through the year in that position.
Yeah, so then you can muck around and be creative and all the other stuff. You don't want to be sitting there after round one going, I'm 20 points off in both prop position, and so I'm losing everybody nearly thing on just based on my body props. You know what I mean? Props can hurt you. They can get really like shonky 30s or 20s, or so I think you want to try look for the guy that's going to get you that 65, 70, and possibly even 80 a week.
Yeah, like I remember last year, at the start of last year,
And not change
like
them.
people were running like 4 cheap or really low tiered props, and you looked at their team and you're like, they're scoring 30 points a week, where you could be getting a prop for Payne Haas or a TPJ, it's getting 70 points instead of your plotters getting 30.
I think it's just because it doesn't look 70, like a 70 from a prop. It doesn't look sexy anymore. Like it's not.
When
You
you-
need it to. So you're like, oh, whether I get 50 or 70, I don't care. I want a bit of pizzazz in my set. I want to get a CWT that's scoring 120 and stuff, but they're not going to do that every week.
But
So I
then
think
there's
you
going to
need
be weeks where they score
scoring
30
10.
and then the bloody centre wings score 20.
Yeah, so I reckon avoid the trades, save the trades. That's already one way to save trades is try lock in the props and just don't touch them until they get injured.
That's a hot take from the reigning champion.
I think the reigning champ has convinced me to go 2 cheap hookers.
Gee, I think 2 cheap hookers could be to go, but I think I still might go.
I always
Harry.
go the cheap hookers. I mean,
Yeah, I'll go say that's okay. That was good timing. That was about the only good joke you've actually. I took me, and that was good. I actually didn't get it straight away. Nice one. Yeah, cool. Press on.
Cool.
Happy.
Yep.
I'm gonna wrap that up.
That's it. Is there anyone else? Oh, Francis Moller was your last one.
Yeah, no, I just threw it out there.
Do you feel like the preparation helped you, or it helped?
I-
It helped. It
Helped
helped.
you, helped you.
It helped me. Like
Yeah.
direct to you. Say, is there anyone else on your list?
Let me look at my list here.
Thanks for joining us this
No,
week.
thanks for
man.
having me, guys. I really had a lot of fun.
No, thank you. I think you gel well with the team.
I hope
yes,
so.
definitely.
Maybe you have me back one day. Who knows?
You live around here, yeah?
Yeah, I'm close.
Or you didn't move to Manly?
No, not yet.
not
Well,
yet.
Mikey's
Too expensive
frequently
over there.
missing, so yeah, I'm sure.
Nah, we need him on with Mikey so they can
Yeah.
sit next to each other.
I like it. Hey, can we have a peephole just so
Yes,
I'm pretty sure there's milk crates around here
There we go,
somewhere.
yeah. Mikey can stand
That's so funny, man. Like the fact that he was like just peeking through, staring, like what a weird little kid. I love you, Mikey.
Do you ever see his foreskin?
Yikes.
Does he have one?
That's
don't know.
a weird question, bro.
20 SuperCoach points for that.
We don't talk about
All right, let's finish off.
We're above it.
Let's finish off with some bold predictions.
For what, in the front row or what?
Just some preseason bold predictions. We always kind of do.
Okay,
this
I've got
at the
one
end
for
of-
you.
So like,
Jake's going to win BBL. I've got a feeling about it. It's either going to be him or Mikey, but I feel like Mikey from the chat I read a little bit. He's a bit stressed out. He's not going as well, I don't think.
Yeah, I'll put a foot on that one. I'm far too back.
yeah, you're about.
There's only 3
he's a-
rounds. I'm about 500 points back.
Yeah, he's.
Oh, it's not doable? It's a,
Oh,
should-
man.
it
it's
probably,
doable,
no,
but-
it probably is true. There's 3 rounds to go
There's
though,
only
and
3 rounds.
everyone's got similar players.
Okay, it's time to get a shrine.
A cardboard cutout of Viliami.
No.
Of Alex Hales.
Alex Hales.
That's my team.
Order it. Just pay for it. Get it done, bro. It'll pay you $25K. I've only paid $25 for my kick out cutout, and it was a good investment.
What's your bold prediction? Let's stick to the theme of hookers and front rows for this.
Okay, well, a lot of people are doubting McInnes, but I'm going the other way. I think McInnes is going to absolutely kill it.
Yep.
I think he's probably going to be the top. Let's go top 2.
Okay.
I do like that he's not in hooker and he's playing out of hooker when hooker's not a juicy position, so that is interesting.
I like him
kinda
at
don't
second
mind.
row better though. Just because.
Where do we think he's playing
Just
lock?
because I don't know if there's
No, as in SuperCoach.
the second row position. I look at it and I'm like, there's no standouts for me.
But we'll get to that in the
Yeah.
next episode.
Yeah,
Something to keep you interested.
second row is usually the last one. Like second row is usually the last one we do.
He just wants to go fullbacks next, that's why.
yeah.
Fullbacks.
What's your bold prediction?
Bold prediction. TPJ outscores Haas.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Oh, I
That's
reckon
risky,
because
good old TPJ loving a suspension.
it's
as well.
interesting because Haas will be playing Origin and TPG doesn't
TPJ
have.
Haas will be out, 3 rounds.
TPJ
will be
is
suspended.
actually
Yeah.
He'll be suspended
he is-
for
probably
an
evened
amount,
out,
so it's
yeah.
probably
he can play for New South Wales, but he probably won't, will
Nah.
he? No, he's not part of the clique. He's upset someone. Or
I'm gonna say Haas to average less than 70 for the first 5 rounds.
It's not that bold, is it?
Oh, well,
That's
It's not bold,
dude. It's
man.
Not bold. He averaged
I think
68
he'd-
last
no,
year.
let's go 60. 60.
Oh, that's better.
Oh, that's juicy. All right. Thanks for listening. Episode 1 done, dusted. pretty solid.
Well, when's the next one coming out?
I honestly don't know.
Whenever we can get together.
We'll probably go next week or the week after.
Yeah.
Second rowers maybe, or
we'll see what we're feeling when we get to
Why don't we
it.
just work our way down? It's weird going.
yeah.
bum, bum,
I'm
bum,
thinking
bum,
that.
bum.
I'm thinking that too.
And we
Savs
can-
just doesn't want to leave the fullbacks.
Crescendo to the fullbacks.
We should have started with the fullbacks today.
Yeah, but you would have got bored by
But
the time we got to the next
honestly,
episode.
look to the fullbacks and there's like 4 options.
4?
There's not.
Three
It's
in
more than
daylight.
that. I mean, I truly think there's only 3, which is, probably 4, which is Turbo and X, or
Hey, today's
Teddy
the props and the hookers. We're not talking about
you,
fullbacks.
you string me along. I'm gonna bite the carrot, man.
All right. Yep. All right. Thanks, Ryan, for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
And I'm sure you'll see him throughout the year, hopefully. If he's not playing,
On the TVs, bloody
On the
hitting
TVs.
sixes.
I wish.
your chance at Marsh Cup, you reckon?
Chance at the Sheffield Shield, maybe.
Sheffield. Well, that's what I meant.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's
Sorry.
The Marsh Cup's the 1 days, isn't it?
So you're more closer to the red ball
than white
Yeah.
ball. Yeah, absolutely.
Sweet.
Really. All right. Good luck.
All right.
Good
See
luck
you.
to me.
Yeah. See you.